This hour by Senator Rick Scott of the great state of Florida. Senator Scott, welcome back to the Hugh Hewitt Show.
It's great to be with you. What a food fight. We got to get these Democrats to do a debate every night.
No,
Good for us?
what a car crash! What an absolute collision derby! Who do you think won that thing?
Trump. These guys, they all talk about Bernie Sanders being the socialist. They're all socialists. I mean, they all want government to take over everything. So I just hope they all keep talking, and the person that's going to win is Trump. I mean, Americans want opportunity. I'm from Florida, and can you imagine all the Cubans and the Venezuelans and Nicaraguans that risk their lives to get out of these countries are going to say, you know what, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Those firing squads, killing the peaceful protesters, that wasn't that bad. I mean, think about what they're trying to sell. This is the craziest thing that's going on with the Democrat Party.
They're in a real jam. I honestly do not know who they turn to because Bernie is the front runner, but Joe Biden last night said 150 million Americans had been killed by guns since 2007. That comes after saying he was arrested. He's off. He's just off in la la land. Tell me though about
fun.
Yeah, it is fine. Let me play for you your adversary in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, on the Senate floor yesterday, cut number 21.
Officials at the World Health Organization are now warning world governments to begin preparing for a pandemic. But here in the United States, the Trump administration has been caught flat-footed. The administration has no plan to deal with the coronavirus, no plan, and seemingly no urgency to develop one. Even now, after the virus has already become a worldwide health crisis with rapidly growing economic risk, the Trump administration is scrambling to respond. We have a crisis, and the Trump administration is trying to build an airplane while already in mid-flight. The harsh fact of the matter is, the Trump administration has shown towering and dangerous incompetence when it comes to the coronavirus.
What do you think of that, Rick Scott?
Chuck Schumer, every day, his goal is, what can I complain about today? He's the biggest whiner out there. So we're getting constant briefs from CDC, from NIH to HHS. I was at it yesterday, and I had a phone call with the FDA commissioner, Han, and what he's doing right now, as an example, is he's talking to all the drug companies. They're reaching out to all the medical device companies, and he said, we don't have a shortage now, but I anticipate we're going to have a shortage. And what I talked to him about, and he's committed to doing, being very transparent. I went through this when I had the Zika crisis when I was governor. The CDC is putting out the information they need to put out. I want to make sure that all these, my goal is that, one, we're very transparent. We tell the American public what our shortages are going to be, where they're going to be, what we're doing to stop them and to deal with them. And I talked to the governor of Florida as an example yesterday. I said, what do you need at the state level? Is there anything you need that the federal government's not being a partner? So my experience is they're constantly briefing us, the Congress, and Chuck Schumer could have been there. I didn't see him yesterday in the classified.
Interesting.
I wonder what he was doing. Maybe
Talk to me about.
The floor already complaining.
Talk to me about markets. Yesterday, I thought it got so silly, I bought back in. I was sitting on the sidelines waiting, expecting a coronavirus crash, thinking it's oversold, so I bought back in. I do not believe we are in a crisis. I think China's in a crisis, and I believe the world's got to be on alert, and I do believe we have now achieved alert status, and I think the president's giving a press conference tonight at 6 p.m. What do you think the markets are going to – you're not asking for investment advice, but this does look like a bit of an overreaction to me.
Well, I think, it's a lot of times in the market, they take an issue like this, and it's really another issue that people are not focused on. Like, I don't get the Federal Reserve having a $4.2 trillion balance sheet now. So I think there's probably some other issues. And the market's been, we've had, just since Trump got in, we've had an unbelievable market. But here's my concern. China is not transparent. I think we will get better information now out of South Korea, probably out of Italy. So we'll have a better idea about this. Because we don't really know because of China. We don't know what the incubation period is. We don't know what the transmission period is. China is, they're not a good partner. They don't let Taiwan in the WHO. They don't let let the WHO go anywhere they want. They won't let the CDC in. But I think now we are going to get better information because of some of these other countries that will be transparent.
Now, Senator Rick Scott, Iran is the least transparent. They obviously have a major outbreak of coronavirus, and they are not telling the world. And people are traveling from Iran. They've got to be locked down. If they're not going to tell the world what's going on, they've got to be locked down.
Well, that's one thing. That's one thing I talked about yesterday. Is that we need to make sure that we're doing just like we did with China. Let's look at these other countries and let's make sure that all of our airports are in position to prevent people coming in here that have coronavirus. Hugh, the biggest issue we're dealing with is what's the incubation period? Because of the way how non-transparent China's been, we actually don't know. We believe it's not more than 14 days, but that's one of my biggest concerns is we do not know the incubation period.
Now, I agree, because if it's 3 weeks or if it's 30 days, it's a huge difference in how
Absolutely.
people respond. Let me go back to the debate. Dan Proft, my colleague in the Salem Radio Network in Chicago, tweeted out today, Joe Biden had a good day night as he committed only 3 major gaffes. Got his Chinese presence mixed up, claimed 150 million gun deaths, claimed Obama never coddled authoritarian regimes or dictators, see Hugo Chavez, see Russian reset, etc. I honestly, I don't think you ever served with Joe Biden. Maybe he was the president of the Senate for 2 years. But it just seems to me that he's lost a step, Senator. I don't think he should be on that stage.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say things like he said, but even with that, look at all their positions. Medicare for All is going to take away health insurance for 180 million people. I mean, they want the Green New Deal. They don't talk about these things that they all bought into, right? They don't talk about they want to get rid of all fossil fuel now. They don't talk about these things because they're trying to make Bernie the worst. No, they're all bad. They're all socialists. They all want bigger government. They're all going to raise our taxes a lot. And so they're trying to make Bernie the boogeyman, but he's not. They're all like that. They're all so far to the left. But Biden can't get his facts straight. You feel sorry for him.
When does Florida vote, Senator, on the Democratic side?
I think it's the 17th of March. I mean,
17th of March.
It's going to be fun Tuesday, isn't it?
It's going to be wild. I think it's going to be over. And I think your colleague Bernie Sanders is going to be the nominee. By the way, what do you think will be the framing of a Sanders-Trump race? Because I think that's where we're headed.
Well, first off, as soon as Sanders is the nominee, you realize all the media, all the left-leaning media is going to say, he's not really that far-fetched. It's not really, he's not really that bad. And they're going to say, well, it's really not going to happen. They're going to make him the most moderate Democrat there is. That's what they're going to, because they have to. There's only a shot. But I think Trump is going to do the right thing. He's going to talk about capitalism, the opportunity with capitalism, and the death and squalor of socialism. Socialism has not worked anywhere in the world. It always ends up with people getting killed, government making decisions that impact your life. Look at China right now. I mean, look at what they do. They take, if you're arrested, they just take your organs. If you don't like your religion, we're just going to put you in prison for a few years.
Look at Venezuela. Obviously, in Florida, you've got that is socialism. That's democratic socialism too, because Chavez was elected and Maduro was elected until he started cheating and not letting people vote anymore.
But they all do that. I mean, they all do that. But look at Venezuela. If you go peaceful protesters, they don't want to protest anymore because they get shot. Yeah. They're starving to death. They don't have food. They don't have water. Some of these kids are walking 7 hours a day to get water for their family now. Kids.
So, do you talk to Bernie Sanders on the floor, or does he consider you one of the evil billionaires? Because he went after Mike Bloomberg in the first question.
He didn't talk to me. I don't think he talks to anybody, though. It's fun. He just walks around and he screams. I've been in one meeting with him ever, and he screamed in that meeting.
About what? Do you remember what he was screaming about? Okay.
It's a budget committee. Whenever he talks, he screams. I'll tell you what. One thing about Bernie, he's consistent, and he must believe what he's saying because he doubles down. He doubles down about the Castro regime. I mean, the Castro regime. I mean, there's a lady I gave her a Freedom Award to. You know what she did wrong? She got her hand chopped off. You know what she did? Oh, she complained that they were going to close a school in her area. You should tell her. You should tell him about that. Very quickly, though, your level of concern about coronavirus, 1 to 10, 10 being the 1918 pandemic, and 1 being. I think we're probably 7. I think a lot of it is we just don't have good enough information yet.
So up the information flow, and you will be happy.
Yes.
Senator Rick Scott, a pleasure as always. Thank you for joining me. 1-800